Delighted to say we're joined, as we promised at the top of the show, by Derbyshire Head of Cricket, Mickey Arthur, who's looking nicely wrapped up. How is mid-February pre-season in Derby, Mickey?
Mid-February is very cold, Manners. I haven't seen the sun for about 40 days since I've been back from Bangladesh. Lot of work indoors, and it's time to get out. We're on a preseason tour to Zimbabwe for 2 weeks. We leave in about 3 weeks' time, so we're looking forward to that.
Mickey, you signed a contract to 2028. Finished third last season in the second division of the championship. That second division is getting harder and harder. Your challenges, the biggest challenges you've faced, and what you've been talking about over pre-season for what the years to come.
Well, look, Hami, we're getting better, and I've said right at the start of this, and it sounds like a cliche, but it is a journey because, internationally, you chop and change your players due to form, where you can't do that in county cricket. You've got players and you've got to make them better. So our players are getting better. We're improving as a squad. Our squad's getting stronger and stronger. We know that with the squad we've got, that we can shake it up when we get that confidence and belief. So again, it's just about developing players. That's ultimately what I love doing, and that's ultimately what I feel we do here is we give opportunity, we develop players, and we're becoming a really good cricket team at the minute.
As Harmy said, you finished third in the championship. Not so good in the white ball competitions. Have you been prioritising the championship? And obviously, the richer the counties, the bigger squads they can have, and they can have white ball specialists. But I guess there are budget constraints at Derbyshire.
Yeah, they are. Of course, they are, man. And that's one of the things that is quite enticing here. Is that we've got to turn over a pound. We've got to make every pound that we spend worthwhile. So we've been very fortunate. I've got a really good board here. We are really ambitious. We're going to have 23 players this year on our staff, and we've spent some money, albeit within our budget. And I do think we've made some significant signings. When I think of Mohammed Abbas, there's virtually 60 county championship wickets there and then. Matthew Montgomery is another significant signing for us, and then Shoaib Bashir is that almost shows our ambition. And we've had Shoaib here for the last couple of weeks now, and he's been unbelievable to work with. He's really bought into exactly what we want to do, and I think he's loving it as much as we loving having him. And then we've signed another 3 really young players. So along with Caleb Jewell coming back and our 2 overseas spinners for the vitality. Now, in terms of prioritizing it, it's kind of gone year by year. First year was county championship, then next year was white ball, and what we've done is I believe right now we're a really good red ball side. We're a very good county championship side. We're gonna be tough. And Harmy said at the top of the show that the Division 2 is a tough. It's a tough division now. Lancashire, Middlesex, Durham, ourselves, Worcestershire. There's no weak teams around anymore, and that's testimony to county cricket. We do have a little bit of work to do in our white ball side, and I guess I feel that red ball we're in a good place now. Next year we probably have to prioritize 1 or 2 white ball signings, but we can mix it with anybody I know on our day.
Mickey, you mentioned Shoaib Bashir, and he's the name that will stand out to a lot of England fans, and obviously a disappointing winter for him because he didn't play. So we don't know if it was he didn't play because England didn't bat well enough, so we had to have the comfort blanket of Will Jacks. We didn't know if he wasn't bowling well enough, and they've decided from a selection point of view. I think it's been a tough time for Shoaib. Is it time to just let him play cricket? Because I've always said he's young, he's developing, he's a young player, and his best ball is very, very good. His worst ball is not very good. And if you can get the in-between to get him right, to give him confidence and bowling more of his best balls, is it about your experience as a coach of what you've done around the world, of just getting the boy to play cricket?
Exactly right. I mean, and I think you've summed it up so well. His best ball, having watched him in the nets, his best ball is incredibly good. It's got great drift. It turns. He gets bounced because he's very tall. There's a lot to like about Shoaib Bashir. What he needs now is he just needs opportunity and a run to play, and then he's going to work it out for himself. I mean, we forget that he's only 22, I think, and he's got 4 or 5 wicket hauls in Test cricket. He's good enough. What he needs to do is work it out for himself out in the middle, and that's where you work it out tactically and technically, and tactically for him, I think is going to be so important, because he needs to just keep playing and playing and playing. But he's been wonderful to have around our change room. He loves cricket. He's my type of cricketer. Can sit and talk cricket to him the whole day. He lives. I mean, we've been swapping text messages every night watching the T20 World Cup, and he just loves the game, and having him around has just injected some fresh air into our squad, because list management is so important within your environment, particularly from where we sit as a Division 2 side, managing your resources, managing your age profile, making sure that you've got concession plans for every cricketer, and him coming into our environment just makes it so much stronger.
I read something a couple of days ago, you sounding exasperated again about the criticism of the county championship. It seems that everybody that is involved in championship cricket from outside of England thinks it's the absolute bee's knees. It's the best competition in cricket. And yet, Englishmen just can't help themselves criticising, we need to change this, county cricket's the problem. So a word about that, but I also wanted to ask you what it's like watching a global tournament and seeing cricketers from 4 different countries that you've been involved in. I was just thinking of Pathum Nissanka. What an innings! And I kept thinking, I'm pretty sure Mickey worked with him as well.
Yeah, I did. I gave him his debut. It was watching Pathum bat last night. I got such a sense of pride. I sent him a message. We had a conversation after the game. It was just so nice to watch, and it is. You're right, man. As it is, you've got a kind of. I've kind of got a hat in every corner, because Nissanka's awesome, but then I'm watching the trials and tribulations of Pakistan and throwing my toys out the cot, trying to watch them play at the moment, and then the one constant, I think this year it's South Africa's. I've got to be brutally honest. I think they've got it. I think they've got it all. So my heart lies with South Africa for this one. And then just to get back to the county championship, I do. I get protective over it. I really do, because it's not the county championship's fault that we lost the Ashes. No. It's not. We are, every one of us within our jobs, and if we're not doing it, then we shouldn't be in this job. We're trying to create high performance environments. We're trying to give players opportunity to develop, to become better players, to aid England. So when I see criticism of the county championship consistently, I get really annoyed, because it's certainly not the domestic cricket's fault that England lost the Ashes. Half those players don't play county cricket anyway. So, I mean, I think England would have missed a trick if, come the first round of the county championship this year, that all those players aren't playing, because I would think that it's up for grabs now. Players need to perform to get selected for the next series. They've lost the Ashes 4-1. Players can't carry on reputations anymore. They need to get out in county championship, however tough it is, score some runs and demand their position, because this is your domestic structure. And I promise you, I've seen domestic structure around the world. The county championship is a very, very good domestic structure.
Mickey, I mean, I'm not very good at lining up questions, as Manas knows, and put my foot in it. I'm very, very good at that. So bear with me on this one. I agree totally with what you're saying about the county championship. Is it the modern day player now that we only say nice things to them? We only want to do the nice things. And unfortunately, when it comes to tough things, i.e. against the best opposition from around the world on challenging conditions, we fall short. So I'm basically saying the modern day player is soft, but does the county championship there and the players that are in it, the different skill sets that go with producing one of the best all-round players around the world. I mean, these skill sets the county championship gives you, as in batting for long periods, batting on tough, finding a way of figuring out how to get the better of your opponent. Are these lost on some international players because they think that is too much beneath them? If you know what I'm going with that.
Harmy, I agree with everything you said there. I'm of that ilk because I think under pressure, it can't be comfortable. Test cricket, as you know, Harmy, is not comfortable. You challenged technically, mentally, tactically, every minute of a game there. And if you can't handle that, you're not going to have any chance of success. Now, your domestic structure has to try and create that. And for us having the best players play back in the domestic structure means that the domestic structure is lifting and becoming better again. You know, I'm thinking, potentially we play Durham. You'll have Potts, Cass, potentially Stokes, all running it. And now that is an international class attack. That aids, in my opinion, the development of players, which makes England cricket better. In terms of the way you talk to players, times have changed, Tommy. They definitely have. And as coaches, we have to change the way we coach because you've got to change with the times. Otherwise, you become irrelevant. But there are times when players need to be told what they can and can't do instead of them having the choice.
But I also look at it, just jump in, man. Look at it from a player's point of view and talking about international cricket. And I've always believed, and a big believer, that if you're prepared and ready for that first game, then it's your confidence that gets you through to the second game, the third game, fourth game, if you play for the test match. But getting you to that first game, you make sure that everything becomes instinctive. And that instinctive fight or flight, the instinctive challenge comes with your preparation, your technique, and everything that goes with it. So you've done it all getting ready to that first test match. And now you freewheel through the series, and it becomes a battle between you and him, i.e. the batter versus the bowler. So if I'm on the top of the opening batters, then against Australia, Langer, Hayden, Ponting is my number one, number two, number three. If I'm on top of them in the first test, the likelihood is they're worried about me come test 2, 3, and 4. Now, I just sometimes worry that our players, in all formats of the game, we tend to try and get to that point, test match 3, and we're not ready in test match 1. Is there too much crossover? Are we making excuses for them? Or is it simply the fact that we like doing nice things because then preparation sides, actually, it's hard work?
I mean, 100%. I could not believe, for a bowler's point of view, that you running in, you feeling in rhythm, taking wickets, your confidence is through the roof. Similarly for a batsman, if it runs, and I don't care what conditions you score the runs in, but runs means you walk out to bat in the next innings with belief in your technique, but also a confidence about your game. And for me, that is so important. Like, I couldn't believe the batsman didn't want to go and play in Canberra just to get some confidence, to get some runs under the belt so that when they played in Brisbane, that they've got that belief and confidence in their techniques, albeit in totally different conditions. Now, for me, there is no substitute for game match practice. There's no substitute for coming into test matches with form, because form is your currency and form gives you that confidence. That is why, for me, the England players need to play more in the county championship so that when they hit that first test match, they've got form on their side. And when you've got form on your side, you never second guess it. If you don't play any cricket going into that game, as you say, it's test 1, test 2, you're sort of starting to play well. Test 3, you're at your peak. But sometimes the series is gone by then.
So finally, Mickey, why does Rob Keane not rate county cricket? I mean, he refers disparagingly to 78 mile an hour medium paces on green tops, and that's got nothing, no reflection on Test cricket.
I don't know, and I've sat and chatted it through with Rob. Now, in Test cricket, we know that you challenged at high pace normally, but there's ways of doing different things. In England in April, you're not going to produce guys who run in and bowl 90 miles an hour because the conditions are not conducive to it.
Yeah.
It's conducive to our boys running in, hitting an area, challenging the batsman every ball, potentially sometimes with the keeper up. And I did find it quite ironic though that Nessa and Boland bowled with Carey standing up and ultimately bowled England out and won the Ashes. I thought that's ironic because that was very, very England county cricket.
Mickey, well, just finally from me, I mean, back to Derbyshire. I mean, the aspirations of everything that's going. You say you're getting better. Going across all formats, Division 2 is going to be a difficult challenge and a difficult proposition. But have you targeted the first block of games? Because obviously there's 2 blocks where you want to be, and have you set targets on where you feel as though Derbyshire need to be come sort of June, July time, and then obviously the back end of the summer?
Yeah, we're very structured in that regard, Homie, and we do. We're very, very goal driven as a squad. I've set those targets. I haven't discussed them with the players yet. That we will do in our preseason in Zimbabwe, where we'll sit down and we'll plot the season. We'll kind of look what best case scenario is. And what I do know though, Homie, is that you need to start well. It's just like batting and bowling. You start well as a unit. You start well as a team. You get that confidence and you get that belief, and that's ultimately very powerful and drives you on to potentially competing come September.